So this fight is very straightforward. It's just basically a tug of war with this boss's HP bar. We're going to be deploying Orca at the start here, and Ministra is going to take a little damage, which gives us a juicy Spira to help us tank. With Tempest S1, we're going to get a defensive buff, which is really going to help keep our Orca alive. After that, she's pretty much safe from there on with all the healers that we deploy. Now, the main goal here is to stack as many of Ministra's totems as we possibly can. So we need Ministra hitting the ads and then the ads dying so that we get some totems spawn so that the boss can't really heal as well. After that, it's just deploy SY, have everything line up pretty well, and Jalin for the extra damage. Then we have a Soyun deploy, giving us a juicy 30% attack buff into her death break. And then from there on out, it's just praying for a little couple crits maybe, and then the boss is dead. Okay, so just in case you're having trouble with room 1, a neat, I say neat trick, but something you can do is after the Yang deploy, you swap Xiaolin out for Rosaria, and you wait until you have 10 DP. So you're going to have to play a little manual here, so deploy the ship S1, make sure that Orca stays nice and healthy and alive. And then once you're around 9 to 10 DP, you forward deploy both units. They will target that totem. That totem is helping heal the boss, and you want that thing gone. Now you can sit there and still play Soyun to try and kill the totem a little faster because it does take a little bit of time. Or you could try and save it for burst. Either which way, once that totem goes down, the fight becomes far more easier. Then once it's gone, we deploy Soyun, hit the auto button, and then watch the rest of the fight. Okay, so room 2 is honestly the freest room that we get. So they changed it to where all you gotta do is complete this hit check. Timing is a little on it, but not a big deal. Now, even if Casey dies here, generally it's fine because the rest of your team is just gonna end up falling apart anyways because of the mechanic. Now, unfortunately, you missed it because it was too quick, but those soldiers just annihilated the sniper that gives you a hard time. The S2 just kind of just blows it away with ASL-wise ETB as well. And then after that, it's just deploy a couple long-range attackers. They sit there and DPS this boss down. By the time that Casey comes out, well, I say boss, but a little worm thing or whatever you want to call this, it's the actual real boss because the boss is a joke over here. But once he's dead, then it's just having all your DPS sit on the boss and free DPS him down. Now, I'll probably end up repeating this, but Athena is not necessarily needed. I just put her on because I wanted to speed this room up a bit. And because of my TUs, Ifrit comes out just in time for it. But you can switch Ifrit one position forward and it won't mess anything up, and it'll guarantee you a Lina proc if you use Lina. Alright, so for room 3, Levia does an amazing job here keeping the ads out of the little puddle that lets them heal, plus she does percentage damage whenever they hit her while she's in her perfect evasion. And then on top of that, her special gives her some skill haste, so she gets to spam that a lot. Lin Jian's gonna sit there and give us the DP in order to summon all the awakens that we have thrown onto this team. Because why not? And then of course we're using Vivian as our operator. Vivian is a decent operator for this, though I'm not 100% convinced that it's really helping a lot. It does clear, like when it procs here, it does clear out the ads and getting you to the boss, and then giving you your ultis and such a lot quicker. Granted, you can position some stuff. The positions of the awakens really aren't that important after Jushiun, so you could position things better if you would like to sit there and maybe get more out of the Vivian proc. But honestly, it worked, so I just went with it the entire time. I didn't feel like changing it at that point. But you have enough DP that eventually you can sit here and redeploy everybody if you happen to be having trouble or feel like you're not clearing on auto. But A Rose is giving damage amp, Chinatsu with her death break that she applies, and then Kurian and everybody else getting their juicy ultis in here at the end just kind of help annihilate this boss. Of course, having a Purifier on Kurian, and then the fact that Kurian doesn't get knocked back, the most amazing thing. Oh, also the perfect evasion people don't get knocked back either. Kind of an annoying mechanic, but you know what it is. You get the final Detroit S2 and the boss dies. And that's Jungle 100 on auto. Now this isn't my first time clearing it, but I got a new record. Hey. Alright, so all my teams are at minus 30 for this. You can technically go up to minus 50. It is a lot more difficult, obviously. Trick to this is basically using all T7 or as much T7 plus 9 gear that you can. Plus 10 also helps. TUs also add on to your CP. You want to try and get as high as the CP as you can get. Now I'm running full CDR on Ministra. Orca is just a standard tank build. Carmen as much CDR as possible. Same with Sinjia, Yang, Zoyun. Shaolin I'm actually using since I can't hit 220 anyways, or didn't try to. I went ahead and went with a bullet attack to get extra anti-ranger since the boss is anti-ranger. And then I just threw whatever T7 gear plus 9 I had on. Her gear is inconsequential. This is a little different. Casey doesn't necessarily need great tank gear. I just kind of threw whatever on her. She's going to end up dying, and then she doesn't really, the boss doesn't really do much damage when she gets redeployed. Sky I have on attack speed. Again, no real threat to her. I want her getting her buff up as fast as possible. Ifrit just on whatever T7 plus 9 gear I have. Same with the OAR. Sorum I have on attack anti-defender. Again, just using T7 gear that's been leveled up. Same here. This stage is relatively free. You can free DPS the boss. Just throw deep damage gear on most of the characters. Note that the operator doesn't necessarily need to be Lina. It could be any operator, to be honest. Damage operator, whatnot. My TUs make this a little interesting for the Lina proc, but you can easily just switch these two around and get the Lina proc as well if you choose to use this operator. You can use whatever operator you want if you want to sit here and push more CP. For this team, we're just running tanky CDR. We want her to be as tanky and use her skill as fast as possible. Standard tank build for Levia. Shinatsu, as much CDR as you can fit and tank. Kurian, just straight up damage. Same with Sigma. I went with T7 CDR just because it gave more CP. Rosa, attack speed is probably better for her. Jushiun, you can actually put on full damage gear, which is recommended. And then same for Yumina, as much damage as possible. This is honestly really cope, but we just worked with what we had. And again, the operator, not necessarily huge to have. You can sit there and play around by moving some of the awakens around if you want to try and get the more out of it. But I didn't find that when it procced anyways, like it made a huge difference. It does kill the ads off a little faster, but that's about all I really felt out of it. Maybe it changes the ult timings a little better, but overall, eh. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. I hope this helps you clear Jungle 100. Now, I know everyone might not have the units that I have or the gear or such and such, so I'm going to include Grass from Global Discord. His comps are going to be in the description. You might find more luck with his. He was able to sit there and use those on -50 to clear all of Jungle. So with that, remember, like, comment, subscribe, join the channel if you'd like. Appreciate everyone watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Oh yeah, I'll also have a Volcano 100 clear, so that'll also be in the description for you guys. All right, peace.